welcome back to another episode of From the Foundation Up. Today's episode is about, I've got my house picked out, I found my lot, or I still might need a lot. What do I do next? So let's take it from the bottom and work our way up till we can get to the point where we're going to have a submission to the township on a lot. So first off, we have to figure out is if you have your lot. So let's just make the presumption that right now you have your lot. That lot, we need to determine what exactly the lot has already and where we have to go. So what I mean by that is if it is a municipal lot, meaning that it is a lot that has to have sewer and water hookups from the municipality, or does it have a septic system and a well that's private on the lot? And at that point, and sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes there's a mixture of both. Sometimes you will have a well and a sewer hookup. And that just determines, a lot of times if the lot was subdivided and they were smaller lots and they had to hook up because of DEP regulations, they have to hook up to the public sewer. So once we make that determination, that is when time starts to tick. So not only is it time frame, a lot of times people, let's put it this way, when people go to build a home, they need to be in that home in a certain amount of time. And if we tell them that your home build takes, let's say, 4 full months, and how long is it going to take till I can actually move into my house from today? Well, there's a lot of determining factors with that, and we'll go over that. So the determining factor is going back again to the first example was if it is a lot that will be serviced on its own, no municipalities. So it's a well and a septic, private on the lot. The health department needs to be notified and permitting has to take place if there is a health department involvement. Not all the counties that we build in have a health department, so we have to determine if there's a health department. And if it is, you have to get your permit through the health department. If it is not, then you just usually have to get it locally. As far as the septic permit, that too has to be determined. Where are we at with that? So some people will buy land. Sometimes land is gifted. Typically, if land is bought on the market, it is already perked, at least perked, it should be. If you're purchasing through the real estate market with a realtor. If not, it will definitely be disclosed to you. But if you have the perk test, you're one step ahead. But if you don't have a perk test, then those things are just things that are going to take more time, more effort, and some more money to accomplish. So being it said that we're on that private lot, it is a lot that you're purchasing it through the market and it has a perk test. Then the next step for that was going to be is we need to get that designed from the perk test. So the design then goes to an SEO, which is a sewer enforcement officer, and they will permit it by reviewing the design that our designers have put forth to them that we submitted. Once that permit is in hand, that's the permit that starts everything in motion. Without a sewer permit, you are going to go nowhere. So that is the first thing that has to be taken care of. Getting your septic permit and making sure that you can get a well permit after that. The health department, they will not allow you to get a well permit if it's a health department issued. They will not give you a well permit unless you have a sewer permit. So it catches you up there. It's sort of a pinch, but at the same time, the health department is protecting your interests by making sure that you are drinking water that's potable and it's not too close to the septic. You don't want that. So there's planning involved with that. The next thing would be we determine is through our discovery phase. Prior to you going to closing on your lot, typically we do all of our discovery so that you know what the total involvement's going to be. So with that said, you'll meet here with our sales team and decide on a home that you're going to want. You have your lot. These are making these presumptions, and we'll go through it if you don't have a lot. We'll go through that exercise as well. But it's presuming that you have your lot. You've picked out your house. You've made your blueprint deposit to us. The next thing is a site visit. And that is our sales team comes out with my husband, Larry. He goes to every site meeting. He will meet out there with you, and then he will meet with as well as our sales girl goes out, Elena, and then we meet with you, Larry, and the excavator. We all converge on your lot. So we have boots on the ground, and we're going to see what's up. What is this lot going to need for site costs, for the lot improvements? So after that, they come back, and then we make the appropriate contacts to the different people that are going to be involved. So we contact the municipality, we talk to the building inspectors, we try to talk to the township engineers if it's possible. If not, typically they have a good website, and the website specifically shows on there what exactly is going to be needed on the site plans, what they're requesting and what they're looking for. With that said, then we also take into consideration the engineering. So again, these are those things that way back when we first started this episode, we started talking about how long is it going to take. That's the big question that people want to know, is how long is this going to take? Well, to know how long it's going to take is to see where you got to go. You got to know where you're at to know where you're going. So you have to determine what engineering has to be taken place, what septic permits have to be, well permits have to be, and then or when you bought it, did they have a plot plan? Was there a land development plan? And if those things are required and you don't have them, then we need to get in a consultant that will do that. A lot of times, I'm going to say 90% of our clients use our engineer. We hope that all of our clients use our engineer, but we do understand that people come in different phases. If it was a subdivision given to them by their parents or anything like that, family, it doesn't matter. If it came through as a subdivision and the subdivision guy who did the development, well, he didn't take it very far. We find that there were some subdivisions that typically in Berks County where the subdivision was complete, but the stormwater management wasn't done. So then you have to take it from there. So there's a lot of determining factors that's going to be able to give us an answer to you, to say, well, you're going to be able to move in June, or you're going to be moving in at Christmas, depending, So those are the things that you just have to find out, from the discovery phase. Also in the discovery phase, we're going to find out what else is the lot going to need. So let's just say that you have a lot, now that we've determined that we have a lot that has private septic and well, we're going to determine that the road that it's on is a state highway. Not that we're talking about the Schuylkill Expressway. I'm not talking about that kind of highway. I'm talking about that it's just a state road. It's not a township road, it's a state road. A lot of times you can just figure that yourselves by going down the road, and in approximation of the speed limit sign, you'll see those little signs that are underneath it, and they say SR 45 or SR 29 or what so on. SR means state route. So those things are going to take a little bit longer. Takes longer when you have a government entity that you're going to have to get a permit from. It just makes sense. If you're getting your township road and you go to the township roadmaster and he gives you the permit for your driveway, it doesn't take long. But if you're going to submit to PennDOT to get a driveway permit, it's going to take a little longer. So those are all factors that factor in as far as your timeline is concerned. After that, we will most likely 9 out of 10 chances you will need to do a plan for the township, and that's where our consultant comes in. We have an engineer that we work with, and we use them on a regular basis. That's we have a great engineer, and they get things done timely. We have had in the past where engineers that we did work with, they weren't timely, and that holds us up, and that isn't what we want. We want to make it a streamlined process. So we found that we have a consultant that we're working with now. We have streamlined the process, so it isn't taking as long as it used to. Going forward from the time we get that would be a grading plan that you would need. That grading plan then comes to you. So we will get the engineer on board, and he will design a grading plan. So putting your home and your desires and your wishes, how you'd like your home to sit, how you like your driveway to come in, those things will all be depicted on the grading plan. And then that grading plan will be sent to you. It'll be sent to Larry for approval, and then it'll be sent to you for your approval. And at that time, you can either move it here, move it there, but knowing that those movements sometimes can cause conflict on the lot. Typically, the engineer is using lines and grades, meaning that he's depicting on the plan how the contours of the lot are, and the best and the most economical way to do your house on that lot. But sometimes people, they don't want it exactly like that. They don't mind spending the extra money and moving in here and tweaking the plan here, and that's fine. But we will always give you the most economical, budget-friendly grading plan to look at, and then we can go from there. So let's say then the plan is approved by you, approved by Larry. It goes back over to the engineering people, and they will finalize the plan. Then the plan gets sent into the township for the township engineer to review and make any of his notations, make any of his adjustments that he would like. We get this question all the time. If I have my engineer and the township, why do I need to go to the township engineer? Or why can't the township engineer just give me a plan? Well, I don't have the definitive answer for that, but it can't be a conflict of interest. And so the engineer for the township is paid to protect the township. The township engineer will then determine what the ordinances are for the township, and what the bylaws are for the township is what an ordinance is. So if the ordinance says that your driveway can't be this steep, it has to be this steep, well then those things are all going to be determined in his review letter. Every engineer for the last 40 years that I have worked with, almost 40 years that I've worked with, in the beginning you didn't have a lot of engineering, but every engineer, it doesn't matter who it is, always will get a review letter from the township engineer. It's just the process, that's how it works. And those two engineers will work out what the best plan is for the grading for your lot. And then, should there be stormwater management plans that need to be needed, that too also will be factored in. So all of those plans need to go into the township. Those plans then get either stamped or reviewed, and you have to go back and forth. Sometimes it's twice, sometimes it's even 3 times, because I always call it the dirty laundry list. So sometimes the engineers on the township will give you a review on the first round, and you correct every single thing. And he goes back to him and he gives you another list. So I always try to ask them when I was doing the permitting, please give me one list, one failure, and then let me just work it all out, not just keep me coming back and back. So there's no attempt to make any time on that. So we always ask if they can just give us one review so we can make it streamlined so we can get the house started. Meanwhile, we will also be doing your building permits. So in the building permit process, we collect all the pertinent, so sometimes it's always local, you will always have a local permit, but sometimes there are state permits, and that's where the well permit came in. So you're going to be determined by the health department, that's a county or state permit. If there was no sewer planning done, and you just have a perk test, but there was no sewer planning done, sometimes we have to send into DEP for that. So those are all factors. It's not that we're trying to avoid your question of how long it's going to be. It's just that we don't know until we know exactly what your lot comprises of. So now let's go to the other scenario. Would be that you don't have a perk test at all. You got your land, you bought it on Marketplace. Typically on the market, like I said, those ones you usually will find that those are perk tests. Let's just say that, or you bought it from a family member, or the land was given to you. Those will take a little bit longer, especially again if you're in a municipality that lies within a county that has a health department. The health department then, because you're scheduling with there's just a lot more people that you need to get on the ground, and that's why they don't try to hold you up for any particular reasons. It's just that this is how it works. So let's just say you don't have any perk tests whatsoever, nothing. And so now all you have is undeveloped, raw ground, and no approvals on anything. So what we would have to do then is we would still go out, determine site cost as to what we're going to make the assumption of how much it's going to cost to do your site improvements based on if you're going to be doing a perk test, typically a sand mount, because that's basically what everybody ends up getting perks for. So then we need to line up different consultants that we outsource to do the perk testing. So you would need to get a person to do a soils, the guy that does the design work, they will do that, or you sometimes you might need a soil scientist, but we have all of those people at the ready to go about getting what we need to get that done. But that can sometimes take up a little bit of time. So I always kind of cringe when a customer says to our sales team, well, I have a builder that I found, and that builder said I can get my house started in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so that's fine. Tell me what you have. Well, I have nothing. Okay, well, that's not going to work, because I'm doing this long enough to know that you can't start a house in 2 weeks if you don't have any permitting done or you have no engineering done. It doesn't work that way. So when a builder does say that to potential clients, it's unfair to them, because what they do is they try to get them to contract. And when they get them to contract, then they think they got them all just tied in, and then they put the pinch on them, and it just doesn't work out. I'm telling you that if you have nothing done, it's going to take till we get ready, everything done in the permitting process, 6 weeks. It's going to be, and that 6 weeks isn't wasted, because it's going to take you 6 weeks to get your financing situated. So if you were to come in today and you made your mind up that I'm going to build a house, and you made your mind up that this is, I just want it to be done as streamlined and as fast as possible. I have to be in my new home. Well, we need to get busy, and to get busy, we need to get out to your lot, do your lot inspection, get back your costs, and see and determine where you are. Do you need your perk, or do you have a perk? And then we take it from there. And then we get the engineering stuff done, we get everything done so we have a submission. And while the whole time that we're working, those 6 weeks, you're working on your 6 weeks to get your financing done. So at the same time, financing, permitting, they're going to converge, and at that time, then you can start your house. So it's not feasible for somebody to say, yeah, we would just start in 2 weeks when nothing's done and you're not financed. So all of those things have to come in line. This is what a submission looks like. This is what one of our submissions look like. As you can see, it's a lot of paperwork. You have your site plans, you have your blueprints. You're going to have to get electric, plumbing, and heating permits, a building permit, HVAC, load reports, all kinds of calculations all need to be done. So it's a lot of work that takes place while you guys are working on getting your financing. Us guys are here working on getting this pile starting from like this, let's just say that's your perk test, to this, your full submission. And hopefully we get that all done. There's no glitches in anything and nothing comes up. We get a township that's cooperative. Wellbolt Homes has been around for a long time. The engineers, the building inspectors, the zoning officers, and the municipalities, they know us. And they know what my submissions look like. My submissions look like this. They go in beautiful. Nothing haphazardly. Everything's done. Everything's tidy. Everything's nice. And we are told at timeless times, I've been told that our submissions are just beautiful. So we take a lot of pride in that, because when they get them, they see them and they're like, wow, it's put together. It does say something for you. So with that said, that's the kind of the process. I think I'm going to do a part 2 to get into the more intricate details of engineering plans, how they're laid out, and show you how it's going to look so that it doesn't look foreign to you when you do get them. You want to be able to read it. So I think I'm going to show you that. I think we'll do a part 2. Maybe the next episode we'll do a part 2, digging a little bit deeper down into the permitting process. It's fun. I mean, I enjoy doing it. I know the girl who does it, she enjoys doing it. It's a challenge at times. It is. But the most challenging part is when we don't get answers. So if you're looking for a perk test, like if you know there's a perk test done, but the seller is not willing to hand it over to you, that's a problem. Then we have to go and hunt down this sewer enforcement officer, see if he will, if he had good records. Do you have it? A lot of times that they're old, but the ground is not disturbed. So if you put forth the right questions to the sewer enforcement officer, you can get moving a little bit quicker. And so we like to get the perk test results, and then we know what we're dealing with and where we got to go from there. And that as unimportant as it may seem to you, it is very important, the sewer perk test results, because those perk test results are going to determine a lot of things in your site plan as well, because that's going to determine what the engineer is going to look at as far as what soil conditions are on the lot. Because the perk and probe, they dig this big probe into the ground, they jump down in it, and they look at all this stuff, and the soil scientists will look at this and they'll say, well, there's modeling here, and this is clay or something else. And so there's a lot to be said in these soil tests that determine the flow of how this final submission is going to go into the township. So for this episode, I hope that I have a better understanding. I think it's going to end up in 3 parts actually, because I think we'll do the deep dive into septic permitting and sewer permitting and municipal water hookups. Those are 2 different things, and some challenges can be involved in those as well. So I think until the next time, I'm going to leave you with having to know how to get this package together in the most expedited way and get it to the township and get a good, clean submission to the township for your permitting process is so important. It's just as important as anything else, because you can pick out a beautiful home, you can pick out all the colors in the world, you can have everything done, but if you don't get past this, you're not going to ever do anything. So getting that done in an expedited way to the township, get it submitted so that when you go to close, we have our permits, or it's coming in simultaneously. Sometimes we miss each other by a week or 2. Hopefully that's the most. And then we get started, and it's go time, and it's time to start building your new dream home. So until the next time, thank you for stopping in and chatting with me on another episode of From the Foundation Up. Thank you.